Welcome back to the Alec Lewis Show. I am your host, Alec Lewis. This is episode 126, recording on Thursday, November 6th, with a guest who you know well. He calls games on the Vikings audio network with Paul Allen. His name is Pete Bercich. He played linebacker. He coached the linebacker position. And we went in depth on this upcoming Vikings-Ravens matchup, talked about JJ's performance against the Lions, asked him what he is most impressed by when he watches Andrew Van Ginkel, Kyle Hamilton, Lamar Jackson. I mean, it was wide-ranging talk, very fun to get Pete's thoughts. First time we've done it all year, and if you've listened to the show, you know how much I enjoy talking ball with Pete. If you're new here watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. There's a little red thing over in the corner. You just hover over that and click it. It helps us out. And then if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or iHeart or wherever you get podcasts, you can rate and review and follow. And that stuff really helps us out. I cover the Vikings for The Athletic day to day, stories galore. Had one that I really enjoyed doing this week on Jalen Redmond and why he wears 61 and the path that he's taken to be really the Vikings' most ascendant defender. Pretty wild arc journey. Pretty, just an easy dude to root for, that's for sure. This show is presented by First Resource Bank. If you don't know about it, it's a member FDIC bank in the Minneapolis area. They've got branches all over the place. Not sure if they've got one in Elk River, where I will be Friday for the Friday football feast, but really everywhere else they've got them. It's run by Vikings fans, Tim Siegley, Aaron Siegley, and Charlie Anderson. They watch the games. They go to games. You walk into one of the branches. You get to talk to them about your favorite team. So First Resource, please check them out. The information is in the description. And then we're also sponsored by Unreal, the clothing brand that I'm wearing every day. And that Adam Thielen is making fun of me for wearing every day, but it's great. He wears it too. They have limited edition NFL drops, and the link for those are in the description. But unbelievably high quality attire, and I'm not embarrassed to say that I wear it as much as I do. So with that, let's hop right into this conversation, previewing Vikings-Ravens, talking J.J. McCarthy, talking Andrew Van Ginkel, Brian Flores, everything and anything. Not sure that's how the phrase goes, but we'll hop right into it with Pete Bercich. All right, Pete, welcome back to the show. I don't think we've talked since the season started. It seems like a couple things.
I've been on your pay no mind list.
That's
you don't return calls. I text you. You're like, I'm on with PA. I'm on with this. I got hanging out with Coach.
Oh yeah, Coach O'Connell. Yeah, we're hanging out all the time. That's absolutely how it goes.
But that's what happens. You're like, you're on the Adam Schechter trajectory. It just
right. Says the guy whose YouTube channel is blowing up. I mean, the eye in the sky is. I mean, it's taking off over there.
Yeah, I know, but it all happens in the basement. It all happens in the studio. There's nothing, right? I'm not. You're more celebrity, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't turn on the radio without Alec Lewis. I'm like, okay, and so you fly all over the country, and you end up in Baltimore, and it's like Alec Lewis is on the radio. You're like, oh my god, here he is!
Oh my god, yeah.
Congratulations, though, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great. I appreciate that. Way to great start. All right, we'll hop into it. And I say this every time, but literally, if people aren't watching your YouTube channel and the film breakdowns you're doing, the people listening to this, I hope you guys hop over there because Pete puts in the time. It's organized. It's crisp. You do a really good job.
Thank you.
Stood out? What was the most interesting thing to you as you watched the Ravens film against the Dolphins? Because that's what you did.
Watching Lamar Jackson, his first game back after missing 3 weeks, seeing how he looked, and I think he was maybe a little. His second half was so much better than his first half, I guess, from an operational standpoint, and just impressed by how well-rounded he is in that regard. And part of the film, when I do, is I take 4 or 5 plays from a single series
Mm-hmm.
And on the first play, he gets man-to-man, drops back. No one's there really to spy him. He's like, there's not much. It pulls the thing down and runs for 15 yards, right? And then the next play, they spread it. They spread the defense out, motion out the back, get that underneath coverage all spread out, and then he just looks one way, looks and just gets this linebacker to freeze, and then they run the receiver right behind. It's a couple slant. It's just using his eyes to manage the underneath coverage. And then, the next play, he's scrambling, and the receivers are doing their thing. They're very, very good at that clock. They'll run the routes, look back, and if Lamar's eyes are not downfield, they break those routes off, and they know how to do that. They're not running into each other, right? They know the voids that they need to go to. And then on the touchdown, it was a deep over. I believe, which wasn't Zay Flowers.
Maybe
it was the one I think it was the Bateman. But a deep red zone route, just running across the back of the end zone. You got the safety in the corner running with him, and then pressure again, and Lamar steps up, and as soon as he does that, Bateman just stops, and then boom, ball's delivered. So between that and he's managing everything very, very, very well, and it's a really cool system to watch because quarterback and head coach have been around for a long time, so they can come out big. And we have teams were giving us problems with that, so it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to Patrick Ricard us and just try to grind us out. But they just spread you out. They put a tight end outside, see if you're in man, see if you're in zone. If they motion over, then they give Lamar a lot of time to change things, and they get the right route for. But it's 2x2, high lows, different combinations, and they just execute this offense. He executes this offense very well, and it's not complicated, but they have so many ways of beating you. Just they don't have to throw the ball; they can run the ball, they can throw it. Or they can scramble the quarterback, or they could option run the quarterback, or they could do this, or they could do that. There's a myriad of things that you have to be able to defend. It's impressive.
No, it's interesting because it is like you see on the film. There's like the spread elements where they come out to your point in the shotgun 2x2,
pistol,
and 11 personnel, and then you'll get the plays where Lamar's under center and it's 22 personnel. Patrick Ricard, Derrick Henry, and then they've got Isaiah Likely, and then they'll run, play action from under center. And then, to your point, there's also the pre-snap, recognition from Lamar, changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and then you've got the scramble drill. It really, part of me watching it, I'm like, if I'm Todd Monk and their OC, like, what do you major in? Or how do you even think about what to major in? Because you can kind of do it all. I don't know if that makes sense, but that was a thought I had watching it because it is so versatile and multiple.
It is, and I think for that's the good news. The bad news of it though is you have to have some type of identity in offense and what you go to when things are not going well. And what exactly is that? You don't want to be. I guess offensively, one of the things I've learned from coaches throughout the years is you just can't be what the defense. How would I say it? You can't let what the defense can and can't do dictate what you do and don't do. Yes, you want to set things up, and if they put this many guys in the box, we're going to throw it, and if they put this many guys in the box, we're going to run it instead. But then that means every time you get to the line of scrimmage, the defense is telling you what you're going to do. And so you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance on that. And that balance of, no, we're going to run the ball here. This is what we're going to do. That's your identity. I still think that in that regard, they really do want to run the football. I just don't know if their offensive line is quite the road graders that they're used to up front. So I think, they might be trying to spread the ball out and run it a little bit more, or throw it a little bit more, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, you said this real quick, and part of my fascination with Sunday is like if they do go with 22 personnel and the Patrick Ricard, you made a noise or I don't know what that was. I'm going to let you explain that in a little bit. But like, I mean, part of me would wonder from your perspective, if they go heavy with what you saw from the Vikings defense this past Sunday against the Lions, how much confidence will you have, do you have that the Vikings defense can match that physicality and prevent some of that heavy run game, creating extra gaps from placing them in positions where Lamar can then go to work?
There's a couple of things. Having Andrew Van Ginkel back is going to help, I think. I hate to make it this simple, but just those guys on defense last week flew around. They were very, very physical. Detroit did not own the line of scrimmage. We played on their side. That was pretty evident.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with this offensive line. So if you want to step up and smack somebody in the mouth, I would think this offensive line across the board on average is probably less physical than Detroit was. So you should be able to do that again. You've seen a lot of heavy runs, so you have some ideas of fronts and what people you want to bring in. And then conversely, the offense has to carry some of that load as well. Meaning if you're just trotting the defense out and Baltimore has a 2-score lead,
yeah,
you're going to see that. I don't care who you are. I mean, they can do that. They can run the 12, 13, 14 play drives like Pittsburgh did. And get 2-3 yards and just be efficient. That's kind of the hard part, is just getting them off the field, because they can be so efficient. They can pile everything up and just mash it for 3 yards, or you can put your quarterback in an RPO or an option situation where get him out in space and he's going to fall forward for 2-3 yards, right? So the scoreboard dictates a lot of that as well. Right, and if it's a close game, or if you have a lead and they got to play some catch up, then they don't necessarily have all the time in the world to just pound the rock.
Yeah, you mentioned Van Ginkel there, and I mean, just as someone who has coached the position and played it, obviously, I have not done that. You have. When I watch this guy, I mean, it just blows me away. His wherewithal on the field and an ability to just find, the feel on the field. I don't know if that's such a byproduct of preparation or just processing on the field, but that's the thing for me. I just wonder, with you, given your experience, having him back, watching this guy, what impresses you the most, or what do you appreciate most watching him play?
His versatility. And by versatility, I mean, he's not just adequate in some areas, he's impressive in so many areas. And there were a lot of plays where he wasn't blitzing or wasn't rushing the quarterback, and had to drop in underneath the zone. Mm-hmm. And it's not, most of the time when you take a D lineman per se and you blitz away from him and he kind of just covers an area and reads the quarterback's eyes. Van Ginkel understands route concepts and what offenses are trying to do. And there were a number of times that Jared Goff wanted to get rid of the football quickly, and he was right exactly where he needed to be. His ability, I think, his instinct and his ability to read a play, I mean, that comes from watching film. That just comes from experience to know, all right, when I see this, I'm getting this, and not biting on, or not, how would I say, just reacting, right? He sees things developing and does
like the anticipation of it.
Yeah, the anticipation and understanding route concepts, and when they want to run when they hit the flat here, they're going to do the dig. It all depends on the formation and the split and what motion we're getting and all that. He's very, very smart and very, very instinctual. And this is just, I'm talking about as a pass dropper. And that's not his bread and butter, right? His forte is being an outside linebacker, playing the run. His ability to play the run, the instincts that he has, the timing that he has. Both he and Grenard are so good at contain with all that.
Yeah.
And then he can get after the quarterback. He can rush upside. He can rush in the middle. He can rush on the edge. He can okie doke you and then rush and buy himself some a soft edge like he did on Penei Sewell. So he's just the overall versatility. You see guys that are good at area A and B, and when you drop him in coverage, he's just kind of in a spot holding up, kind of holding down the fort. He can do all of that. And that's probably the most impressive part of what he does is
and
just
it felt like to me, and I just wonder what you would say to this. Like so much of that game plan Sunday, I mean, for you to blitz, cross dog the off ball linebackers the way they did and drop the edge rushers, like so much of being able to do that is because when you do drop the edges, specifically Van Ginkel, he does have the feel for what's like the hot route answers right there. So like you have so much conviction as a play caller to go with that game plan because of the type of guy you have occupying that space is what it felt like to me. It was an unbelievable game plan.
And if he can just get himself in the right area, the right alley, and get the quarterback to hold on to the ball for a fraction of a second more, the blitz is going to work, right? He's not just standing out there like a light post, and the quarterback can just work around him. The guy's good, and we got Detroit in a situation where the looks we were giving them made their running backs protect. Okay. Detroit didn't do a lot of keeping extra tight ends in and sliding the line and 2-man routes, right? They wanted to get 2, 3, 3, 4, 3 receivers or tight ends into the routes. So we figured that part out of it, and then we just attacked it until we wore it out. And that's another bonus because now you're getting pressure in the face of Jared Goff, and if you can get him to just move off of his spot, his 76.4% completion percentage starts to go down. And we saw some of that. We saw some bad throws or some throws that you're like, my God, that's what the Lions do. They just make that play over and over again. And that just means they're not going to score 36 points at home like they normally do, right? They might score 24. Even though that's about the effect. You see what I mean? So that opens a window. So the defense playing as well as they did, doing all the things right, you're still, the Lions are still going to score 20, 21 points.
Yeah.
You just have to match that, and they did offensively. It's kind of crazy how that we have a great day on defense, and they still, they're still going to score their points. It's the NFL. They're good.
Yeah, and it took for them to do that. It required multiple of those, fourth down conversions, really, and that's what they do.
You made them earn it.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
You made them earn it.
Like, it's unsurprising that they would utilize those to be able to score, but to force them into those situations is all you can do as a defense. The other thing, or the last thing, really defensive.
Just one thing, real quick. The Isaiah Rodgers deal where. He missed a tackle. We had a couple missed tackles on a little flat route, right? Grenard misses, Grenard misses Goff. He gets the ball out. That's Detroit. So many of the passes and the throws that they make are line of scrimmage, 1-2 yards. And then because of the timing, it's run after the catch.
After catch, yeah.
And they tackled, so the defense tackled real well. And when we didn't, we saw that. I mean, that's what the Lions do. Right? Quick throw, boom, the guy runs for 15, 20, or at least, 5 or 6 extra at the end of the play. You multiply that times 30 pass attempts, now you're talking 150 yards. That's what the Lions do, and it was awesome to see the defense do everything. Get Goff off his spot, tackle well, be physical up front, right? They finally neutralized Jahmyr Gibbs, who –
well, that's what I was going to say.
160 yards and 2.5 touchdowns per game against us last year, for God's sake.
You'd much rather after the catch be Amon-Ra than Gibbs. I mean, not that Amon-Ra is, but like when that guy gets the ball in space, being Gibbs, and the fact that he didn't, I mean, it was I don't know, positive to see that. It was.
Right. It was. That's why I thought that was one of the best. I thought that was, or if not one of, but the most impressive wins in the Kevin O'Connell era because of how much that team turned around in a little over a week. It was very, very impressive. And then going to a place you haven't won since 2000 and, blah, 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 8.5-point underdogs, overcame a lot to play the way that they did. Now you just got to keep on doing it because this Baltimore team's, very good squad.
Yes. Last thing for me defensively with Lamar, what is the coaching point? What is the attempt of, as he's darting around in the pocket and evading, both from a contain with the front and a plaster in coverage, how crucial is the discipline with that stuff? Do you feel like Sunday for the Vikings to make this thing go the way they want it to go?
Well, you have to be, you can't, this is not a, just for football terms, the absolute antithesis of Lamar Jackson would be Kirk Cousins. Just stay with me on this. When Kirk Cousins took a snap and it was a pass, you knew where he was going to be. He was going to be 5 or 7 yards behind the center. So the D lineman knew, if I can take an angle, I could do things as long as I can get around the offensive lineman and get back into that spot, I'm good. You could pin your ears back. You could run 3-man games. You can do all this other stuff because the quarterback's going to be sitting right here. With Lamar, you cannot do that. You have to be very disciplined, and you can't just take a side on a guard or a center and just get pushed way up past the play or out wide because now you're just opening up the lane for him to do whatever he wants. So you want to keep him as claustrophobic as you can. And, that requires a lot of discipline because sometimes you have to take an edge to get to him, but he can ole you and get out. So structurally, you can have someone that kind of mirrors him underneath and maybe do a 3-man rush and play different games. That's if you're getting the drop back pass. So we have the athletes in guys like Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Cashman, and Dallas Turner, right? You can throw those if it's a definite passing situation. You could throw a mix of those 3-4 guys out there. You're not going to bull rush the lineman to the quarterback, but you're at least going to have athletes out there that can slow him down or chase him down. So a mix,
that's interesting.
A kind of a mix of all that. But you have to be much more disciplined. This is not a week for all these crazy ass line games up front, because he steps back and this thing opens up and you're playing man to man. He's just gonna go. That's like Dante Culpepper did years ago, right? Mixing it up, trying to get him to hold the football. It's not easy. It's not easy. Not easy to do, man.
He's accurate too. That's the one thing.
He's getting more accurate. Yeah. His completion percentage. I don't have that number in front of me now. He's at 136. He's a 136.7 passer right now, number one in the NFL. 14 TDs, only 1 interception. Yards per attempt at 9.1, second best in the league. His completion to touchdown ratio is the highest in the NFL. It's almost 12%. So 1 out of every 12 completions is a touchdown right now. And he's leading the league. If he finishes this year with the lead, that's 3 years in a row. So he ties Steve Young. The only people that have done it 4 times are Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. But he will get inaccurate. That's the thing, and this is something I've seen with the evolution of Lamar is that he will, if you get to him, that's how I think you can tell if you're successful, is he'll miss the quick flat route, right? Carson Wentz did that again with we saw it with Jordan Addison, right, against Philly. Jordan Addison, he'll do that every once in a while. And I think the more you get to him, the more you do, and you just need 2 or 3 or 4 more of those, right? I think that's a good gauge as to how much you're affecting him in that regard. But good luck, because he's he's getting better as he's getting older and becoming a better quarterback.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him in person. To flip over to the other side, I mean, look, this Ravens defense, before Alohi Gilman, this safety that they acquired from the Chargers, which allowed Kyle Hamilton to shift down to the box. I mean, they were close to last in I was looking this up before, like 31st EPA, 28th success rate. Then they acquire Alohi Gilman. They move Kyle Hamilton. Now they're like third in EPA, 6th success rate. Those some of the advanced numbers. So it has definitely allowed them to be more of the unit. Mm-hmm. They've also gotten Roquan Smith back, who, I mean, he was really impressive to me on the film. But just what did you see with this defense? And then, I mean, like, there are some areas where I still think they're pretty gettable, but we'll start there. As you watched it and you saw the transformation, a little bit of what they've done, moving Kyle Hamilton, what stood out to you?
Stay out of third and long, because that's when they see part of the transition that they made. Zach Orr, their defense coordinator, during the bye, spent a lot of time figuring out pressures, because the four-man rush just isn't getting there. They have 11 sacks, second fewest in the league, so they just weren't getting to the quarterback.
The edges in the interior, they don't have Matabike, who is their big money player on the interior. The edges are like David Ajabo, Mike Green, the rookie. It's just they just don't have many names. Yeah, they're
big in the middle.
Yeah, the interior guy, the Travis Joneses of the world, these guys are massive human beings.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 341. CJ Okoye, 6'6", 370. 6'6", 370. John Jenkins, 6'3", 340. I mean,
John
big.
Jenkins, that guy is huge. He's gigantic.
Big. So, but I think what Zach Orr did is he said, all right, we need to get aggressive. We need to start blitzing, and we can take Gilman, put him in the deep half, and then take Kyle Hamilton and let him be a little bit more of and we know this, Josh Metellus, right? He'll blitz up inside the A-gap. He'll blitz off the edge. They blitzed him off the edge against Miami about 5 times. What is surprising is how well Hamilton is able to do those things. I mean, this guy, he is a Brian Flores safety. Right, the versatility. It's what, again, like Harrison Smith can do. I think when it's all said and done, Harrison's almost to his 200 start. That's coming up, which is amazing. Wow. It puts him, I think, third all time, or at least no, not third all time, but he's third with guys with the Vikings that are still with us.
Sure.
Anyway, wherever he goes, you got to respect him. And again, like I said, Harrison Smith, his thing is he could do it all. You can't just walk up on the line of scrimmage and see him walk up and be like, okay, it's a fake, so to speak. So they're doing that now with Kyle Hamilton, and he's doing such a great job. He's playing the run well. He's reading, like, you put a safety in the box. Normally they struggle at reading counters and reading different running plays, and he's up there just doing it. He's reading counters, bouncing off blocks, making tackles, blitzing off the edge. If you don't block him, he's TFLing it. If you try to run him reverse his way, he's a good enough athlete to get off a block. So he's doing all these things. It's a Van Ginkel type versatility.
I was gonna say
you're seeing out of him,
and awareness too. Like, he feels like he's just always in the spot, just like Van Ginkel does, where you're like, I don't know how he ended up there, but he always ends up there.
And that's the remarkable part, and that's part of the change I think that they're getting is you're not just blitzing. A blitz is this is one thing I learned in coaching.
I'm excited for this.
A blitz may look good, but it's only as good as the guy that you're blitzing. Right, you may draw something up and be like, okay, this nickel blitz is going to work. The way the protections are, the whole thing, and then you're sitting there going, oh, he was playing nickel for us this week, and you got to be sending the right guy too. You know what I mean? So Hamilton is the right guy for a lot of these. The downside with Gilman in the game is Gilman can't tackle. He's at least in the last couple of weeks. I mean, he had probably 3 missed tackles, one of which went for an extra 24 yards against Miami. So I don't know if he's nicked up, if there's something, but he struggled mightily in the tackling game. So that's the trade-off. Okay, great. We got a cover guy in there. We got Hamilton down in the box now. But if you get the ball out quickly on the outside and make Gilman tackle, can you wear that out? Right. So there's always that trade-off. Marlon Humphrey, very, very, very athletic, but he guesses. Right. So you might be able to get him on a double move. Roquan Smith on the ground in the box, very, very good, but make him cover. Make him drop into a zone, throw a high-low his way, bootleg, do those things, because his strength is playing the run, and you want to make this guy get out there and cover. So Malachi Starks, I think, is a very, very good football player, surprisingly good in the run game as well. So I was pretty impressed with him. And that's kind of, I guess that's kind of it. Is this front's big? It's going to be hard to run right down the field at them. But JJ should have time to make some plays. So we'll see.
That's kind of how it feels to me. It's like with those, the John Jenkins and Travis Jones of the world running between the tackles, especially if Aaron Jones. I mean, I mean, this probably gets into just Viking specific, but like I thought Aaron Jones gave them so much in that game the other day.
Aaron Jones is like, oh God, we're playing Detroit. I get 70, 80, 90. He does.
And
we're playing Detroit. I'm getting my 80 yards. I don't care how, but he does. It's just, God, when he takes the football, he could go anywhere, right? He's like a jitterbug, just and man, he was so much. You realize how much you miss him.
That's what it felt like. First run of the game, 11-yard run. And then on that 3rd and 9 against the zero look, they check at the line, the screen, Brian O'Neill mauls the guy, and you're like, to have him in those big, to set the tone early, for me, it was huge. I mean, this is the only Vikings podcast that goes 30 minutes and hasn't talked about JJ. So I will ask you, like, what did you think of the way he played?
Much more in control of the operation. Yes, he still fumbled a snap, and we had 2 runs that went. That's 3 plays right there you can add to the mix by not screwing something up. Now, I don't know if they were his fault or somebody else's. But if you from the first, what stands out from the first 2 games from an operational standpoint, just the hurrying, checking, fumbling the ball, bumping into people. That became much cleaner. He looked so much more comfortable. The best part was just the accuracy with which he threw. The Lions wanted to stack the box, leave our 2 receivers one-on-one. We said, okay, we're throwing fades. The one he threw to Jordan Addison that wasn't caught was a beautiful throw. I'm not saying Addison made a bad. I'm just saying that ball was perfect. The touchdown to Justin Jefferson, perfect. He threw a couple other plays, other passes from the near hash all the way across the field. So the accuracy was what I was most impressed with, because that gives defenses constant. That's a problem. You're gonna say, yeah, we can just leave. We're gonna leave you guys one-on-one on JJ and whatever in the red zone. No, I don't. Not a good, maybe not a good idea.
Wouldn't
anymore.
Recommend that.
Right. So I was just very impressed with that part of it. And also the way he handled himself in the pocket, meaning got to the top of his drop. If he needed to extend the play, he had a good feel for he wasn't, we've seen him a few times in the pocket and then needs to get out and just kind of, does a reverse roll or tries to create something to get out. That happened, a couple times, but it was much better about reading the rush and then stepping up into an open lane and extending the play. And when he did scramble, he kept his eyes down the field. right? He just didn't pull that thing down and run. He kept his eyes down the field, and the one pass that he missed on the sideline to Justin Jefferson is kind of an example of that. That's what you want, because that's eventually how you're going to start getting some big plays down the field. So just much better overall in the whole process. The accuracy of the throws, the crisp part of in and out, and how he managed it. So huge improvement over what we had seen. He had one good quarter against Chicago. The rest of it didn't look as smooth as it did on Sunday, and hopefully that is the base right there. And week after week, it'll just add a few things and get a little bit better as we go forward.
Yeah, the far hash throw to Justin, I think that you were referring to, where it was like anticipatory. There, I was texting NFL Scout. He's like, that is a big boy throw. Like, that is where you see it, and you're like, that is, if the down to down consistency gets to a certain place, and those can be the like elevating type throws, like it starts to get pretty. He
threw that one, and then he also threw a deep comeback that he completed on the sideline. It was a good 15, 17-yard deep comeback.
Maybe Addison.
It was on, and it was on the Vikings sideline. Across, it was on the Vikings sideline across from us, and I just remember seeing the play develop, and he just launched that thing before. It's the timing of the whole offense that's important, and the accuracy, the timing. I mean, it's those things are unbelievably difficult to stop as a defense. Okay. Yeah. So if you can be consistent with those, you're going to be giving guys problems.
Yeah. And I it'll be interesting for me, and we'll end it here because Brian Flores is talking here shortly. But it'll be interesting. No, it's great. We could go for an hour and a half.
I'm sure the fans would love that.
They would. They probably would. No, it'll be interesting to me if it's like if the Ravens try to man up and double Justin and see if JJ can be accurate enough, in tight windows, or if they will just play zone and have him fill space. Like that is.
I thought Detroit was going to do that, try to do that.
With the receivers, it's probably pretty hard to do that.
I mean, they could try that. I don't think that's their. I don't think that's what they're doing right now. They've the zone dog overloading sides and doing that with the Hamilton bit and all. I think that's kind of a groove that they found, and they could develop that into some man pressures. But I don't know. I just don't see them. Doing that. And if they do, hey, tip of the cap to them. But right now they're playing the run with some smaller guys in the box well, and they're being aggressive, especially on those third downs. I mean, if they know you're going to throw the football, they're going to be giving you some problems, or they can. So, it's right now I don't necessarily think that they're going to want to do that, but who knows? I might be wrong. That's why I'm sitting in a studio, not in a coach's office right now.
Come on, the Eye in the Sky YouTube channel. People are benefiting from where you're sitting. Thanks for doing it. I'm not happy that you said I'm blowing up at the on the radio
in a good way. In a good way.
Right. Look, Eye in the Sky. You see these subscriber numbers. It is what it is. It's getting good over. Thank you, Pete. I'll see you in the press box. I'll see you in the press box.
All right, bye.
And that'll do it for episode 126 of the Alec Lewis Show. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or iHeart, you can rate and review, and that stuff helps us out. Do not forget a couple things. One, I write for The Athletic, so there's stories galore, theathletic.com, unbelievable staff that I work alongside. John Krasinski's dominating the Wolves coverage right now. Michael Russo, Joe Smith on the Wild. You got Aaron Gleeman and Dan Hayes on Derek Shelton's hiring with the Twins. whatever you want, we've got it. So please go check out theathletic.com. Shows presented by First Resource Bank, sponsored by Unreal, a locally owned clothing brand that is on the rise. Incredible trajectory for those guys and girls over there. You can follow us on social media. I'm at Alec_Lewis. Our social media accounts are at Alec Lewis Show. Available for questions anytime you got them. And locked and loaded for the game Sunday at US Bank against the Ravens. Can't wait to see Lamar in person, to watch the matchup, and to talk about it afterwards. We'll see you guys next week. Talk to you very, very soon.